Alright, give me a second. I'm just setting everything else up on the side. I have 2 people waiting to join, so that means I need to join for the 3rd one. First, as always, is their sound being picked up? Yes, very much. Okay, good. Alright, just setting up the other switch. So, a couple things today. Today, I got a shiny Weedle, a random shiny Weedle, in my Let's Go Eevee game. You might be wondering, why am I playing that game if I hate it? Because, yes, in my opinion, the Let's Go games kind of suck. Though that's just me. You know? If you love the game, then hey, more power to you. Now, the reason I was playing that game today. Now, you guys know that recently I worked on getting that shiny home. That Pokemon Home shiny Meltan from completing the Let's Go decks. Oop, I need to let these guys know the code. And I also gotta let them know about the strat. Anyways, so, yeah, today, got a shiny random Weedle. So you guys know I worked on getting that Pokemon Home shiny Meltan, which I will claim on 4/20. So, I needed the Let's Go Pikachu exclusives, but I had no save data on my Let's Go Pikachu game. Now, I did not want to play through that game just to get, like, the 6 version exclusives. So, someone helped me online. Someone online helped me trade for the version exclusives. However, that doesn't mean I will never go back and complete my Let's Go Pikachu game, because frankly, as much as I don't want to play that game, there is something I want to do at some point. Maybe not anytime soon, but at some point. And that would be shiny hunting the Alola versions, the Alola forms. So, you know, in Let's Go, you can trade with NPCs to get Alolan forms of certain Pokemon. And you technically can shiny hunt them. Now, before anyone asks me, why don't you just shiny hunt the Alolan forms from a different game and just transfer them into Let's Go? Well, that's the point, you know? The challenge aspect. Getting the Alolan forms shiny with the Let's Go origin mark, that alone is going to be quite an accomplishment. So, those hunts alone are going to take quite a while. And, you know, I need the shiny charm. At least preferably so. My plan is to basically just do one trade and reset the game. I know people catch like boxes and boxes of, let's say, Raichu, so they can do like hundreds and hundreds of trades before resetting the game. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I really do need the shiny charm. So that's what I was working on. I was working on a Let's Go Living Dex. Now, Pokemon Let's Go is a special case. I cannot catch Gen 1 Pokemon from, let's say, Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet and transfer it back. Let's Go is the only game on the Switch where, for some reason, you cannot transfer backwards. So I needed to get everything natively from the game. Thankfully, there is a little bit of a loophole, and that is Pokemon Go. Thankfully, Pokemon Go helped me a great deal when it came to completing my simple living dex. You know, because given how much I don't like playing this game, I sure ain't about to grind and collect a bunch of evolution stones to evolve. You know? I'm just gonna go into Pokemon Go, catch a random Oddish and evolve it with candy so that I don't have to get a Leaf Stone in Let's Go. And this is just a regular living dex for Pokedex completion's sake. You know, it's not for my Pokemon Home living dex. So it doesn't matter to me what game it came from, as long as I have one of everything in the game. Who swaps again? Okay. I have to look at my own strategy. So yeah, my Let's Go living dex for the 150 is just for Pokedex completion's sake. So it doesn't matter to me if it came from the Let's Go games or if it came from Pokemon Go. It's just for Pokedex completion's sake. I at least took it a step further. Instead of just transferring to Pokemon Home and then just slapping it into Let's Go, I at least took it one step unnecessarily further. And I put them into Go Park in Let's Go so I can catch them again. That was a huge waste of my time, but hey, I still went and did the extra effort. Anyway, so I did finish that earlier today. So now I have 150 of the original Kanto region, all ready to give me the shiny charm in Let's Go Pikachu whenever I decide to play that game. And I really don't want to play that game. Don't expect me to start shiny hunting all of the Alolan forms in Let's Go anytime soon, because I really don't like playing these games. But I figured, you know, once it's time for me to start, once it's time for me to actually dive into that hunt, I'll be ready. I prepared in advance. God, I really don't like Let's Go. I think when it comes to Pokemon, my least favorite region is probably the Kanto region. Just because it's just so overdone. You know? Like, I'm sick of going back to Kanto. I'd much rather something new or something else. Given how many times I've replayed Ultra Sun and Moon to shiny hunt the legendaries, I'm not even sick of that game. But the Kanto region, I'm just completely sick of. So yeah, that's why I was playing Let's Go today, and how I got a random shiny Weedle. Because I was working on a Let's Go living dex to give myself the shiny charm in Let's Go Pikachu whenever I decide to play that. So, speaking of shinies, aside from getting that shiny Weedle today. So, this didn't happen today, for say. Yesterday, I got shiny Virizion in my original Ultra Sun. So that means, because I got Terrakion last time, past midnight, I technically got both Terrakion and Virizion on the same day. So that was yesterday. Yesterday, I got shiny Virizion. And obviously, as you can see over here, I am now hunting for Landorus. This is the last one I need. Landorus is the last legendary I need because I already hunted Kyurem long ago. Today is also the air date for the Season 1 finale of Daredevil Born Again. However, I'm going to have to watch it tomorrow. Because I don't have Disney Plus anymore, because I'm not paying Disney. I'm not financially paying Disney, as all they give is woke trash. So, I'm going to have to wait for it to be put online, totally not legally. So yeah, shiny Virizion yesterday. Today I actually did get another shiny, like today and not yesterday. Today, well, okay, let me break it down real quick because there's quite a backstory to it. So, I am still working on the masterwork research in Pokemon Go to get shiny Meloetta. One thing that I was stuck on was... Why did I catch that? One thing I was stuck on was getting a bronze medal for Pokemon Showcase. Which means you needed to win at least one showcase to get the bronze medal. You have to get first place. And obviously that's not easy to do. However, earlier today, I lucked out. Early this morning, I had to go somewhere. There was an Alolan Executor showcase, and mine was actually the first place. Mine was the biggest for the entire time. I put it in earlier today, and the ending for the showcase was 8 p.m. tonight. So I got lucky there. And thus, I finally was able to move on with my shiny Meloetta Masterwork research in Pokemon Go. So, I had 3 encounters. The first one was a red stripe Basculin, second was a blue stripe Basculin, but the third one, I got a white stripe shiny Basculin. So that's the other shiny I got today. Claiming the, working on the shiny Meloetta Masterworks research, I got a shiny white Basculin from it. Nice. I have to double check after this. I think that means I now have every Basculin shiny in Pokemon Go. Don't even get me started on trying to get Basculegion. Is that enough to activate the ability? It might be. Well, let's hope the hail doesn't. Then again, Icy Wind did slow down Zygarde, so we'll see. Yep, it did. Shame. But it should be fine. Zygarde has been slowed and 2 different special defense lowering moves landed, so we'll see. And Cryogonal is already Dynamaxed. Wow, is that 1 HP? It is. No shiny from the other switch. But hey, 10 Dynite ore on my other switch. That's nice. Okay, I want to show you guys something once we get started on the next run. So actually working on the Shiny Meloetta Masterworks research, the next thing I need to do is catch 100 Pokemon while in a party. And that requires someone else playing Pokemon Go. Yikes, that's going to be a problem because I don't have friends who play Pokemon Go. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone said something came up, so they have to dip. That means I need one more person. I need to find one more person. Okay, let me show you guys what happened last night. So, I mentioned before that I had Kirby mystery box sets that I needed to open, and I needed to clean up and reorganize my room in order to display it. Well, so yesterday I tried. I opened one of them, like one set of 6. And let me show you, 2 of them had a problem. I'm just keeping an eye to see if anyone else is going to join. So, 2 of my Kirby mystery box sets, 2 of my Kirby mystery box figures had problems. So first one was this one here. So you can see this one here. It says Parasol Waddle Dee. Not too many problems here, you see? This is where it's supposed to hang. The problem came over here. The Waddle Dee itself, you know? So the umbrella stick actually comes off, and so does this. So where's the problem? The problem is actually this part right here. When I opened the package, it didn't have this part. Like, it didn't have this. Now, granted, there's a good chance I dropped this somewhere and I lost it. That is a very strong possibility, because it is, like, it is pretty small and pretty lacking in color. So there is a good chance I just simply dropped it and I lost it. So, you know, you can see that right there. It's supposed to go, god damn it. It's supposed to go like that so that Waddle Dee can hang. So you might be asking, like, well, if you said you lost it, what are you holding in your fingers right now? Well, that's the thing. This didn't come with that. This came from this, the second one I opened. Now, the reason I just took this and put it on the other one is because even if I wanted to use it on this, I can't. Because when I opened it, this was broken. What's broken about it, you ask? Well, if you look at this little piece in my hand right here, there's no light. If you could see this little piece right here, and if you could see this little dot right here, I realize it's hard to see. Ignore my long fingernails. There's a little dot right here. That's not something that I can simply just where'd the piece go? That's not something I can simply just, you know, shove this piece in. This piece is supposed to be already, like, soldered onto here, right here, and it's snapped off. There's supposed to be a hook already built in right at that spot. And then I'm supposed to put this onto Kirby's beam hat, and it's supposed to dangle. It's supposed to dangle and swing from the top of here. So it should look like this, you know? But I can't, because this part's broken. So I took this piece from that one, and I attached it to the Waddle Dee. See? So I took the piece from that one in order to get it to work for this one. See? You know, I'm showing you this at an angle. So it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to swing. But I'm missing the piece for this one. So I took that piece from this one, because I can't use it on this one because it's broken here. Now, if you think about it, like if you feel like you know the answer, then you might be telling me a very simple solution. Why don't you just glue it back on, right? Why don't you just glue it back on? Well, there's two issues with that. One, yes, I could simply just glue this piece back on, but, you know, in my heart, I will know that it is defective. In my heart, I will know that it is broken. And two, okay, oops. Okay, say I did glue it back on. I still need this piece in order to make Kirby swing. But I'm missing one of these pieces! I'm missing one! So if I glue it back on, I can use this piece for Kirby, but not Waddle Dee. So I have no choice but to buy a whole nother one of these. Well, if you don't glue it back on in your room, you would know it... Wait, if you didn't glue it back... Hold on. Why am I having such a hard time reading this? Well, if you didn't glue it back on in your room, you would know it to be broken. Huh? Am I just stupid, or is that not processing? Okay, nobody's joining. Let me ask one person and see if he's willing to join. Sorry, comma. Punctuation. Excuse me, hold on. Let me inform the other person. I'm waiting for a response. Anyway, so yeah, I have no choice but to buy another one of these. Because if I buy another one of these, this part, hopefully, will not come broken. And then I will have another spare one of these, sour keys in order to use for this one. Now, once again, there is a good chance I simply just dropped this and lost it. I mean, can you blame me? Look at how tiny this thing is. Like, imagine this on the floor. Good luck trying to find that, especially if it somehow bounced underneath some sort of cabinet. Okay, dude said he can join in about 5 minutes. And then someone else messaged they're willing to join. They're brand new to doing this, so I will have to probably guide this person on how this works. So yeah, I need to buy another one of these. Now, once again, I have two options. I can either go the normal way, and that is buy mystery boxes until I pull this one again. Or I could simply go online, spend a little bit more money, and guarantee I get this one. I think I'm gonna do that. I don't want to gamble and risk buying like 8 of these until I get this one. So, yeah. It's a shame. Man. The fact that 2 of these came with issues. One of them is a inconvenience at best, because I'm missing a piece. The second one is just flat out broken, so I can't even do anything with it, even if I wanted to. Unless I just glue it. Okay, I gotta explain to this person how to actually join these raids. Give me a sec. We'll talk about Daredevil in a moment. I just gotta make sure everything continues first. So, kind of sucks that 2 of my Kirby mystery box figures came with issues. Thing is, too, I can't even go and, like, say, hey, I bought this one here and there's an issue with it. Can I exchange it? I can't even do that. Because, 1, I didn't just buy 1 on its own. I bought the whole set. And 2, well, the place that I bought this from, or rather, my sister helped me get it because it was a friend of, I think it was a friend of her friend's. Her friend's friend who worked there. And, well, she kind of left for pregnancy. So, any chances of speaking to her and letting her know about this issue is slim to none. And also the fact that it's been, like, over a year since this happened. I know, I've been putting off opening these for quite a while. Quite a long time. Okay, let me ask these guys. Do you want to do a run? Oh, never mind. He just replied. Alright, he said he's turning on the game. Great, less work for me. Less stimulation while I talk about Daredevil. How's everyone doing? Alright, we're just about to start. Oh my god, hold on. You know, my sister gets home from Korea tomorrow night. Oh, I almost dropped my controller. So she gets back home tomorrow around like 7 p.m. I don't even want to attempt to do the math of what time she'll get onto the plane. Well, she did say she gets onto the plane 7 p.m. her time, so Korean time. I don't even want to attempt to figure out like what time would that be over here. All that kind of stuff. And you know, I can finally do something when she gets back, and that is go to frickin' Best Buy and get myself an external hard drive, because I am severely in need for one. My computer is running out of space, and fast. These VODs take a lot of space. you know, when she gets back, she'll be jet lagged, just like I was when I got back. So she'll wake up rather early. She can make it to work on time. If she's at work, then, you know, I can come in a little later because I went to Best Buy to buy myself a freaking external hard drive. I'm about to drink water out of a bowl like a Chinese person does. Because I had soup in here earlier and I was too lazy to go and get a cup. Okay, seems like this person's having issues joining. I just want my shiny Zygarde! Okay, let me pull back up the Wikipedia summaries for Daredevil. There we go. How's it already been almost 40 minutes? Alright, so last time we talked up to Daredevil Born Again episode 5. So today we have episodes 6, 7, and 8 to discuss. Because episode 9 came out tonight, and I haven't watched it yet. So, if there is a next time for Zygarde, who knows, I'll get the shiny today maybe. If there is a next time, then we'll talk about episode 9 then. For today, we have 6, 7, and 8 to discuss. Alright, let's see. Episode 6. So, what was episode 6 again? Because I'm remembering episode 7. That's the one everyone hates. What happened in episode 6 again? Or, no, yeah, episode 7. Right, what am I talking about? Episode 7 is the one everyone hates. Episode 6, right, I remember what happened in this episode now. Okay, so, for those who don't know, because I didn't know at first either, They aired episode 5 and 6 on the exact same day. Probably just wanted to hurry up and get to Matt being Daredevil. You know? Because we saw Matt in his Daredevil suit in episode 1, and then we did not see him in Daredevil attire until episode 6. Oh yeah, fun fact. So, or just a little thought experiment. Watching this show, it actually happened after I finished watching episode 6. I then had this idea. So, you know how J. Jonah Jameson constantly asks for a good picture of Spider-Man? Well, that got me thinking. How much of the general population actually knows what Daredevil looks like? I'm not talking about his face or his identity. I'm talking like just... what do people actually think Daredevil looks like? Because Daredevil, he doesn't show up that often. And whenever he does show up, he mostly shows up at nighttime, inside buildings, or like in this episode, underneath sewers. So it had me thinking, like, how much of the general public actually knows what Daredevil looks like? Because he doesn't show up that often. He shows up mostly indoors. I doubt there's many pictures of him floating out there. All people really know is that there's a vigilante dressed up in a devil suit. And that's pretty much it. So I really do wonder, in the MCU, like, how good of a picture do people have of Daredevil? When they imagine Daredevil, what do they think of? Because there's not exactly a whole lot of pictures to go off of. You know, in the MCU, you can't exactly Google image Daredevil and have a lot of pictures show up. So yeah, just something I thought about. Because I highly doubt a lot of people in the MCU know what Daredevil really looks like. Anyways, so episode 6 aired the same day as episode 5. You know, the episode with Yusuf Khan, St. Patrick's Day, that bank heist. Alright, so episode 6. Now, there must have been some dialogue I missed. It says here, after the failed robbery, Luca visits Fisk and refuses to pay the $1.8 million to Victor. In the last episode, the people robbing the bank for that diamond did say they were employed by someone. Maybe I missed who that employer was. But yeah, Luca visits Mayor Fisk in his mayor office. Pretty bold of him to go straight to, you know, the lion's den. Fisk raises the amount to $2.8 million and gives Luca a week to pay it. It's exactly what it says here on the wiki summary. And then, well, Fisk gets some bad news about all of the graffiti art that's popping up overnight in the city. So the sanitation department is informing Fisk there's good news and bad news. No, there was no good news. He was told there's bad news and there's worse news. The bad news is we can't clean it. You know, we have our strongest cleaning tools trying to get all that stuff off. It just won't come off. The worst news is, once we found out a way to clean it, we found out what it's actually made of. The paintings, the murals, all the graffiti showing up on the city, it's human blood. So that tells everyone there is a serial killer out there using blood as paint all over the city. We even see 2 more victims of Muse. You know, 2 girls suddenly spot who they think is just an innocent artist. Like, are you Muse? We love your paintings. Can we get a picture? And then Muse turns around and then just snatches them on the spot. So now everyone is aware of Muse. Hey, we also get a surprise guest appearance cameo from this. We see Jack. I'm not even gonna bother pronouncing his last name, but whatever. We see Jack, aka Swordsman. We saw him in the Hawkeye series. Fun. Now, he's at this sort of like rich people gathering where, you know, a fundraiser. Where the city's rich donates their money to fund whatever the mayor's doing, that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. But a lot of the rich people there are kind of refusing to lend their financial aid and support to Fisk. And we know he's not going to take that lightly. Jack, aka Swordsman, even low-key threatens Fisk. He's like, is that a threat? No, think of it as just a warning. Alright, so, in order to deal with Muse, this supposed serial killer painting with blood, Fisk establishes his anti-vigilante task force. Hold on, there's a bot in the chat. Banned. So yeah, he goes to like all of the corrupt cops, gathers them all in one spot, and basically gives them full immunity to go ballistic, do whatever they want. Free range to turn off body cams, do whatever excessive force that they wish to use. As if the cops weren't corrupt enough, and then you just enable them even more by giving them more free range and power. So, that does not bode well for all of the other vigilantes that we know of. You know, he even mentioned himself, a guy running around with a skull on his chest, or a man dressed as a spider. So I really want to see, you know, the anti-vigilante task force go up against our, you know, vigilantes. Well, I don't know how important this is to mention. It says here, recruits notorious police officers such as Powell and former detective Cole North. Make of that what you will. Okay, so Angela believes that her uncle, Hector, aka White Tiger, was investigating all of these like missing person incidences, and it probably related to Muse. So she goes to Matt at Kirsten and McDuffie. Was that the name? Yeah, the Kirsten and McDuffie law firm looking for Matt. Tells him about it, but even he's like, "What do you want me to do? I'm just a lawyer." So, you know, BB then takes everything into her own hands. She goes to the sewers looking around and then gets got by Muse. So Muse started his process of, you know, draining the blood. Well, Matt gets notified that, well, Angela's missing. So Matt tries to do the right thing. He calls the police, but then he's just like, oh, fuck it. Let me suit up as Daredevil and I'll find her myself. Now, I don't know if that's just Hollywood for you. In my experience, and I mean this literally, my own literal real life experience, if you call the cops and you don't give them anything to work with, they'll show up regardless. Like, if you just simply call 911 and then just hang up, they will send police officers to your location just to make sure. How the hell do I know this? By personal experience? Well, when I was a kid, I was just playing around with the phone. You know, I learned about dialing 911 in case of emergencies at school. So as a kid, I was playing around with the phone. I dialed 911 as an idiot. Police actually answered. I'm just like, and I hung up. And then the police actually showed up at my doorstep. So my dad had to deal with it. I don't remember what grade this was. Maybe like 1st or 2nd grade. So yeah, in my experience, when you call the cops and you just hang up, they still show up anyways. So that has me thinking, well, Matt tried to call the cops to report a missing child, I suppose. And then he just says, oh, fuck it. And then he just suits up as Daredevil. So I'm like, did the cops not show up at his apartment just to make sure? Anyway, so he goes to the roof, gets his Daredevil suit, suits up, goes to the sewers, and runs towards Muse. I don't know, I found that scene kind of funny. Because Muse is draining the blood from Angela. He hears this noise coming from outside, so he goes and takes a look. And then he just sees a blurry figure running towards him. I don't know, that just kind of looked funny to me. Kind of like Officer Carl running meme. Just kind of looked like that to me. But then, you know, the music intensifies. Daredevil finally shows back up and fights Muse. Turns out Muse is a pretty skilled hand-to-hand fighter. We hear more about that later on. Not very far later on. So yeah, we see Daredevil and Muse throwing hands. At the same time, Fisk goes back to his basement torture dungeon, and he straight up beats the hell out of Adam. He starts with the story like, when I was a boy. Yes, he started with that kind of story. Like, you know, he would be too small to fight all of the bullies. But then he learned that a simple weapon is a great equalizer. So he tries to, you know, give Adam a fair shot by literally throwing him an axe. Giving him an axe as a weapon to fight the Kingpin, who is barehanded. Even with an axe, he couldn't even land a scratch on Fisk. Because Fisk just, like, pretty much picks this guy up and tosses him around as if he's a sheet of tissue paper. Keeps on beating him, like, beating him half to death. It constantly cuts back and forth between the parallels of Daredevil and Kingpin fighting. Well, yeah, Daredevil defeats Muse, but he gets away, and he also manages to save Angela. Kingpin beats the holy hell out of Adam, but he does not kill him. I was actually thinking, like, did he kill him? When this episode aired, and there was no episode after this just yet, I was thinking, did he kill him? Because we know Fisk, if there's anything about Fisk, he is a man of his word. If there's anything going for him, he is a man of his word. He promised Vanessa in episode 1 he would not kill Adam. So I was thinking, did he kill him or not? Because he did promise his wife he wouldn't. Well, spoilers, we find out later on that he did not kill him. He just beat him at an inch of his life. Hey, still didn't kill him. Fisk never promised Vanessa that I wouldn't beat him to death. Beat him almost to death. But I won't kill him. Well, yeah, that episode ends. Okay. One person is about to dip after this. However, another person is ready to join after. So, yeah. Excuse me, I just needed some water. Are you guys making sure you're drinking enough water? Why did I catch it? Whoops. So, something that my family has been working on for the past little while is preparing my sister's apartment for her. Because now that she's married, she's about to move out with her husband. Granted, they're not moving out very far, but you know, it's still their own place, right? So what we've been doing, we've been getting the apartment ready, renovating it. Well, not really renovating, more like painting the walls, replacing the lights, unclogging the sink, because the previous residences, the previous people there, they clogged up the sink. You know, that kind of stuff, just preparing it for her. Wow, must be nice, right? You're on a trip to Korea while your family prepares your apartment for you. And you know what else? My brother-in-law, so my sister's husband, you know how incredibly lucky he is? How incredibly lucky he is? Because, let's face it, 99% of us will not be in his position. Like, I can only dream of being in his position one day. So, you're married, you're about to move out with your wife, and your wife's parents, they are working on renovating your apartment for you. You don't really have to deal with too much. You still have to do some stuff, of course, but for the most part, a lot of it's taken care of for you. You gotta pay, of course, like, you know, but like the hard work, stuff like finding people to do the stuff and then, you know, monitoring all of it, like the in-laws are taking care of that for you. Because my dad, he has a lot of connections. My dad knows a lot of people. He has several friends who do this thing, you know, renovating. So he just calls his friends to do the renovating. And of course, because it's his friends, they can get the job done at a cheaper price. So damn, like, I can only imagine if I was in that position, right? Like, if I were to move out one day, would my in-laws be preparing the apartment for me and their daughter to move out in together? Like, because my in-laws, they know people, they have connections. My in-laws got someone to renovate the apartment for me so I don't have to do any of that. Let's face it, probably not. And let's see. That'll just probably never happen to begin with. At this rate, I'm probably never gonna move out. One, because I have no money. And two, well, I kind of don't have a wife to move out with, or just anyone to move out with. Now, granted, you don't need that. I don't need a partner to move out with, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have that be the case. So yeah, my family's been working on that for a little bit. The apartment. Renovating it for them. I'll talk about the next episode in just a moment. Wait a sec, why did Glalie use max steel instead of ice? Well, someone's clearly controlling Glalie. The person didn't disconnect. Or is AFK. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Why did I catch that? One of these days, I'm gonna catch something that I didn't want, and it's gonna be shiny. Well, it's already happened. You know, I already lost a shiny Glalie trying to do this. I did gain a shiny Pelipper, though. You know what's funny that I forgot to mention? When we hunted for Zygarde the first time, not a single phase. Nothing. This time, we got a shiny Pelipper, and then we failed a shiny Glalie. So, that Pelipper was technically the first phase of all of the Zygarde hunts. Oh yeah, there's also that as well. Don't expect me to do the Alolan form shiny hunts in Let's Go anytime soon, especially with ZA on the horizon. You bet I got a lot of shiny hunts I want to do in that game. Or at least I will. I want a shiny Talonflame, I want a shiny Florges. Well, I already, you know, hunted everything beforehand. If all the legendaries can be shiny hunted again, great! I'll hunt them all again. Well, the ability is gonna activate. Well, whatever. At least both of those landed, so that's good. again with the 1 HP. It's not the first time it's happened with the 1 HP. Man. Okay, so let's talk about episode 7, the episode that everybody hates. So, okay. Angela has been rescued by the police. She's in the hospital. Matt goes to visit her. She borderline almost recognizes his voice being the same one as Daredevil's voice. So Matt, for some reason, is asking Angela, do you remember anything from when you were in Muse's lair? It's like, Matt, can't you just go back and check yourself? I mean, you literally later in the episode went back to Muse's lair. And it's not like Muse really says anything, right? So, Detective Kim reports to Fisk that Daredevil has returned, and Fisk is furious. You know? Fisk still has a grudge against Matt for dismantling his entire operation, for putting all of his workers out of a job. Ugh. You know, Buck is trying to convince Fisk that, like, maybe a Daredevil coming back is a good thing. You know, he'll take care of the serial killer. But nope, Fisk is stern on vigilantes and is insistent on using his anti-vigilante task force. Well, throughout the episode, we see that on the Fisk side of the story, they slowly learn who Muse is by, you know, deduction and stuff. Detective Kim, something she said about, you know, a canvas or whatever was being purchased by an artist. There's only so many people they could track down except for one, Bastion Cooper. So they already were super quickly able to deduce Muse's identity is a person named Bastion Cooper. And then we literally see Bastion Cooper in a therapy session with Heather Glenn. And then he very quickly lets on that he is Muse, and Heather Glenn very quickly picks up on it. He mentions that, you know, or the episode mentions that he had a Taekwondo instructor that he killed, thus explaining why he's so good with martial arts, because they needed something thrown in there to explain that. You know, we see that Bastion Cooper from the recap of the episode, so they spoiled it, Bastion Cooper was that random kid who, a couple episodes ago, asked Heather Glenn for help, as if it wasn't obvious enough. Matt goes back to Muse's lair, finds several paintings of Heather Glenn, and then he uses his bare hand to, feel the texture. Oh yeah, also earlier in this episode, he felt Heather's face, because, he's blind. And then somehow he's able to feel a 3D face is the same as, like, a pretty flat drawing on a piece of paper. Okay. I mean, yes, the painting did have some, like, 3D edges. You know how paint, sometimes people will do, like, a little bit of raised up paint to give it texture, but, like, that to a face? Okay. Daredevil has heightened senses, I suppose. I think it was also in this episode that we see Matt and Heather have some very hot shower sex at the beginning. Yeah, it was in the beginning. Because Matt is kind of regretting that he became Daredevil again. So he's in the shower, he's bleeding. Heather goes in very naked and tries to cheer him up. And then before Matt leaves, they have a discussion about Matt being so full of grief and trauma that it's destroying his life. And that's where he feels her face. Cool, anyways. So Matt figures out that Muse is after Heather Glenn, and so does Fisk, because they realize Bastion Cooper has therapy sessions with, well, Wilson and Vanessa's marriage counselor. So, Fisk sends his anti-vigilante task force. However, they don't make it in time. Or, they don't make it as fast as Daredevil. So, Daredevil shows up, beats the shit out of Muse just before he's able to kill Heather Glenn. Muse even lays down a tarp on the floor, intending to use the blood from Heather to paint. But then, Daredevil crashes in, literally, fights Muse. There was some scene that I couldn't tell what happened. So, Daredevil threw his billy club at Muse. Did it, impale him through the chest? Because we see blood splatter onto the camera. I'm thinking, what even happened there? I can't even see what happened there. Anyways, they fight. Heather Glenn shoots Muse dead, so Muse has been killed off this episode. Just as that happened, the anti-vigilante task force shows up, causing Daredevil to retreat. He holds Heather in his arms, like, "Come on, Heather, wake up, please," with his Matt voice. So whatever consciousness Heather had left, she probably recognized the voice. Well, the anti-vigilante task force shows up. No Daredevil in sight. Fisk is like, "No, Daredevil did not do this. You did this, didn't you? You will take the credit for the killing of the serial killer Muse." And yeah, that's exactly what he did. On the news broadcast, he flexes how great his task force is and then holds up Muse's mask. So, what a waste of a character. Muse, really nothing came from that character. I don't know the actor's name. What a wasted talent, I guess. Wasn't he in Wednesday? He was in something else. Or was it Scream? I forget. He was in something with Jenna Ortega, if I'm not mistaken. And hey, I'll just say this. Muse, underneath the mask, is actually quite a handsome guy. No homo, of course. So, yeah. Matt is by Heather's side as she wakes up in the hospital. She, she's sad. She's upset that, one, that happened to her, and two, that she had to kill Muse. And I think it was at this moment that on the news broadcast is when Fisk announces his task force killing Muse. There's also this pretty cringe scene of Daniel Blake threatening BB to pretty much remove anything that mentions Daredevil's involvement with what happened between Heather Glenn and Muse, but instead writing it as the task force were responsible. Daniel Blake, you are not menacing whatsoever. The fact that BB actually folded, I'll give you credit to that at least. There was also this small little side story. So there was a scene in this episode where Vanessa meets up with Luca. Luca's not happy with Fisk, playing politician. He's like, I can see it in you too, Vanessa. You don't like it either. Things were better when you were in charge, until your husband came back. I'm saying, let's take out your husband and get back to business. Later on, Vanessa seems... At first, she, of course, disagrees, because that's her husband. But then, Vanessa later on texts Fisk like, my husband's alone here. Go ahead and do what you want to do. Basically telling Luca where Wilson is. He's alone at a restaurant. So when Luca goes into the restaurant to try to assassinate Fisk eating a giant dinner, Buck Cashman pulls a reverse card and assassinates Luca before he can assassinate Fisk. And Fisk is unfazed. He doesn't even flinch. He just continues to eat his dinner. God damn, the food that man eats looks exquisite. Well, that's the end of episode 7 and the end of the original creative team's content. But yeah, what a waste of a character. Muse, so much potential there. Only to be wasted. My friend literally texted me earlier today like, bro, what the fuck was that Muse storyline? Now, obviously, I didn't even expect them to do the whole Muse thing from the comics where he has, I think, inhuman powers. Kind of like a black hole for Daredevil's radar senses. So Matt could not sense anything Muse was up to. I highly doubted they were going to do that anyways. But like, damn, what they did was even less than bare minimum. And that's quite an accomplishment. Quite a feat of its own. Ugh. Alright, let's take down Zygarde, and then I'll talk about episode 8. Which is actually really good. Episode 8 is really good. So I'm excited to see what episode 9 has to show. Earlier today in Pokemon TCG Pocket, I pulled the Nightmare Fuel realistic full art Wigglytuff card. Well, I was gonna get it sooner or later. At least it wasn't 1 HP this time. I'm gonna go blow my nose real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Oh, I'm tired, you know? I woke up early. I've been waking up early. Man, it's already been 2 weeks. I've been waking up early ever since my sister left for Korea. So, 2 weeks. Because, you know, my dogs need early morning attention. There's a reason my sister's always late to work. I'll be at the family business, so it's not like there's any penalties, you know. My sister wakes up at like, I don't know, 7 or 8 in the morning, depends on when the dogs wake up. And, you know, after she's done dealing with them, she goes back to sleep, and then she obviously wakes up a little bit later, so she comes to work later. I don't have that luxury. I wake up early, I deal with them. If I want to go back to sleep, I get like maybe half an hour or an hour more, and then I need to wake up. I mean, I know that's the norm out there, you know. Parents gotta wake up, get their kids ready for school, and then have to go to work. Like, I know that's the case. I already have it pretty easy, you know. I wake up to feed my dogs. I don't need to, say, drive them out to school. You know, growing up, I didn't take the bus to school. My dad had to drive me to school. So when school started at 9 a.m. for elementary school, or worse, 8 a.m. for high school, Yeah, my dad would have to wake up that early in the morning just to drive me there. And don't even get me started on, like, 6 a.m. music rehearsals. Man, what a mistake it was taking music in high school. But now, you know, we're years away from that. Matter of fact, it's almost been a decade. It's almost been a decade since I took music in school. Anyways, let's talk about episode 8 of Daredevil, Born Again. So, now we're finally moving back into the territory of good stuff. Back into the territory of the new creative team. After they fired all of the original creators of the show, they realized what they were making was terrible, so they reworked everything. So episodes 1, 8, and 9 are the new creative team. Episodes 2 to 7 were the old ones. And you can really see, you know, things in episode 1 come back in episode 8. Kind of like Bullseye himself. You know? Bullseye's been absent for a majority of the season. And then the episodes he is in, it's almost like those episodes were created by different people. So we see opening this episode, we see a lot of blue. We see a blue flower, we see blue lighting, we see a lot of blue. And then it turns out that Benjamin Poindexter, or Dex, is being moved from solitary confinement to Gen Pop. At first, I'm just like, what the hell is Gen Pop? Gen Pop is general population for prison. So not the solitary confinement for the most dangerous, for the worst of the worst. Move to the general population of the prison, where, you know, the general population of prisoners are. Under Fisk's orders. Now, it almost seems like Dex is surprised by this, which he is, because he was promised something else, but then out of nowhere, Fisk supposedly is ordering that he gets moved to somewhere where he will get killed. Colin, what? Solitary confinement. He's at least alone. He's not able to break out, but he is alone. If he's in Gen Pop, well, he's kinda outnumbered and will be bodied immediately. So we see that Fisk reveals to Vanessa that he has Adam captive this whole time. He does say to Vanessa, I did promise you I wouldn't kill him. Basically saying, I did not promise I would not do any of this. So he gives Vanessa a choice, right? A very obvious key in the shot, or a very blink and you'll miss it gun off to the side. Vanessa picks up the gun and kills Adam herself. I saw a Canadian lad's breakdown. She shoots his hand first. Remember what Vanessa said about Adam's hands? Like I said, thank God she did not say his penis. So now Vanessa's hands are dirty. Now, at the end of Daredevil Season 3, Vanessa did order the death of Ray Nadeem, but she never killed anyone herself until now. So Fisk and Vanessa are truly united now after their little hurdle in their marriage. No more Adam, no more anything, no more secrets. Or is there? Fisk also promotes Daniel Blake to Deputy Mayor of Communications. So what a promotion. Good for him, I guess. So, Matt and Heather are at his apartment discussing, what happened between Daredevil and Muse. Heather ropes them in together, as just vigilantes, as just masked criminals. But Matt, trying to defend, himself in a way, it's like, wait a second, I feel like Daredevil and Muse are completely separate animals. Well, Matt gets a knock at the door. It's Buck Cashman personally hand-delivering a letter from the mayor to Heather Glenn. It's an invitation to a fundraiser. Matt's just like, how do you know him? How does the mayor know about you and where you're staying at? Please don't tell me the mayor is your therapy client. And can you blame Matt for being a little bit offensive, or not offensive, defensive, whatever. Given the fact that he believes Fisk is keeping tabs on Heather Glenn just to keep tabs on Matt. You can't really blame him for thinking like that. So Matt constantly warns Heather, like, can't you see? He's using you to get to me. And then, Heather's just like, why don't you come with me to this fundraiser I'm invited to, so that you can make sure I don't get used like that, like you're suggesting. Because the invitation does have a +1. Well, so Matt goes to work and he completely... Oh my god, I forgot to mention something about a previous episode. I forget which episode it was. Oh crap, which episode was it? Before I continue talking about episode 8, one of the previous episodes, Matt takes on the case for this guy who gets arrested for stealing a box of caramel corn, or as Matt pronounces it, caramel corn. At first I didn't like this guy, he's so... I don't want to say impulsive. He's just so, expressive. Even mocks and makes fun of Matt for being blind. Like, that's low, man. But then he tells his sob story, which makes us feel bad for him. Like, the system spends more money to make sure he, gets thrown away instead of actually helping him. Or whatever he said. So, yeah, he gets arrested for stealing a box of treats. When there are worse people out there, kind of like what we're about to discuss, getting off. Kind of, sort of. So, Matt goes back to work at Kirsten and McDuffie, and Kirsten tells Matt, like, hey, Benjamin Poindexter has been moved from solitary confinement to Gen Pop by Wilson Fisk, and he's asking to speak to you, Matt Murdock. I'm trying to remember, like, exactly which order of events happened. Did he go to see... No, I think he did see Dex first. So there's this client that they're taking, and it's, he's very obnoxious. Matt can easily tell he's lying, but, without proof, yada yada yada. Matt basically yells at him and then storms out, and he's just like, I don't understand. This doesn't feel right, We put the criminals away, we win the case for Hector Ayala, and he's killed. That one guy who I forget the name of gets arrested for stealing a box of caramel corn, and now Bullseye is moving from solitary confinement to Gen Pop. It doesn't seem like the system's working. It just feels like we're babysitting chaos. Just fire writing. Now, I did a horrible job going through the writing, explaining the writing, but the actual dialogue written, absolute cinema. Absolute poetry written onto paper. So, Matt, he leaves. He goes to the prison to see Bullseye himself. Bullseye offers information for his representation? For his for a defense attorney? Whatever. Something. I'm sorry. However, Matt is understandably furious because Bullseye killed his best friend, Foggy. Bullseye reveals, sorta, hints that he didn't do it out of his own grudge and vendetta, that he was hired for it, but doesn't say by who. Matt assumes Fisk, Ugh. Wait, not yet. No. He storms out after slamming Bullseye's face onto the table several times. Storms out, go to Josie's bar. Which I'm surprised hasn't closed yet, Like, when we saw Josie's bar in the opening scene that took place a year ago, that was a year ago. The bar closed, and then, what, Josie just kept everything there? Ooh, someone got a shiny Tangela. Nice. So yeah, Matt goes to Josie's bar to clear his head and think. So you can clearly tell episodes 1 and this episode were the new creative team because, the actress for Josie is here. Cherry also shows up trying to talk to Matt. Something. Josie pulls out a bottle saying, this is what Foggy was drinking that night. Matt's just like, are you sure? I think you're mistaken. Something. Matt pieces it all together. And then he realizes it was not Fisk, it was Vanessa. So he leaves, getting ready to go to the fundraiser as Heather's +1 to confront Vanessa. Well, Dex, he uses his tooth to break out of prison. How does he have the strength to spit his tooth so hard it literally impales into a guy's face? That is some next level strength right there. But yeah, Bullseye escapes and is going straight for, Fisk, believing it was Fisk who hired him to take out Nelson, take out Foggy. And then basically just, did him dirty in jail. Wouldn't be the first time. Remember the fact that it was Fisk who broke Dex's back? Well, at the actual fundraiser, Vanessa talks to Heather, and it's just like, I think we worked out everything, so we don't need any more therapy sessions with you. Thank you, doctor. We're cured. Matt shows up, goes, meets up with Heather. But then Heather's just like, you're not even listening to me, are you? You've been so distant lately. At the same time, Matt just doesn't listen to her and focuses in on what Fisk is discussing with Jack, Swordsman. Throws the line back at him like it's not a warning. It's not a threat. Consider it a warning. because Fisk threatens him with his whole vigilante identity. It's like, are you not the vigilante known as the Swordsman? It would be a shame if your identity were to go public. So typical Fisk using threats and blackmail to get what he wants. And what he wants is the financial support of the rich elites in New York so that he can get his mayoral stuff done. So yeah, Fisk does actually spot Matt being at the party. So when it comes time to dance, you know, just the mayor dancing with his wife. By the way, they did indeed put Fisk in an all-white suit, finally. So as Fisk is dancing with Vanessa, he then lightly whispers like, "What do you want, devil?" Find it kind of interesting that Fisk knows that he has super hearing. Realistically, how would he know that? He just simply knows that Matt is blind and that he can somehow fight. But there's no concrete evidence that he knows, you know, Matt can super hear. You know what, just for fun, I'll catch him this time. Well, Buck Cashman has been alerted that Bullseye has broken out. So security has been on high alert, and they kind of suck at their job because Bullseye was able to infiltrate and point a sniper right at Fisk with relative ease. So, damn. You guys are not worth the money Fisk is paying you. So, Matt swoops in. He, you know, taps into... that's not the right way to phrase it, but whatever. He taps into Fisk and Vanessa's dance, so they swap partners. And Matt confronts Vanessa right here. It's like, I know you ordered the murder of Foggy Nelson, and you hired Ben Poindexter to do it. And then Vanessa's like, wow, that's quite an accusation. I know you did it. And does your girlfriend know that you're Daredevil? The fact that Vanessa also knows, you know? This whole time, we weren't too sure if she knew. Because if you rewatch the scene in Season 3, she didn't actually see Matt's face. So Fisk is like, have you wondered why your boyfriend is so infatuated on vigilantes? Matt is able to hear the, you know, the gun cocking that Bullseye has. And then they do the thing where they mess around with the aspect ratio to show off Matt's hearing. Again, something that happened in episode 1 and is happening here again because different people worked on it. Or rather, the same people worked on episode 1, also worked on episode 8, but not episodes 2 to 7. So what does Matt do? He surprisingly jumps in front of the bullet that was going to hit Fisk, saving his life, but then, you know, Matt gets shot. Now, the reason that this is significant is because earlier, and what I completely failed to mention, when Matt went to see Dex in prison, Matt's just like, why would I ever help you? You know, when you killed my best friend. Because isn't that what good men do? They defend their worst enemies? So that's what Matt does. He defends his worst enemy from a bullet that will probably kill him. He defends Wilson Fisk from Bullseye because that's what good men do. Because that's what heroes do. We also see throughout the episode a lot of blue lighting when it comes to Bullseye. Whenever he is focusing in, everything goes blue. At first I wasn't really understanding what was happening, why is the screen turning blue? But you know, it clicked with me. I love it when they use color to symbolize things. You see a lot of scenes where Matt is in red coloring, Wilson Fisk is in white, and then Bullseye is in blue. I love it when they do that. And well, that is everything Daredevil Born Again wise up to this point. I have not seen episode 9 yet, so yeah. Alright, I just texted everyone. I'll probably do one more after this, then I'll call it for tonight because it's getting late. It's already past midnight, and if I do one more, that'll take me beyond 12:30. That might even take me up to like 12:40. I don't understand why Glalie constantly uses Max Steel. Do I have that written on the strategy? Oh no, I do. Whoops. I can't be the only one who thinks that when that Max Steel move happens, it looks like this to me. Like, whenever people do this heart thing with their fingers, I can't be the only one who thinks it looks like that. Damn it. Well, at least the next turn will take it down for sure. No stupid 1 HP this time. At least there shouldn't be. Yes, I am hunting Zygarde. This is going to be the last run for tonight since it's getting late. So I'm only doing this last one, and then, you know, I'll come back to do this next time. You're also hunting for him? Well, good luck to you as well. Your 59 counters up. What happened? Alright, let's try that again. I didn't myself hit quit, did I? Alright, let's try that again. No, my internet didn't die. Yeah, I don't know how many encounters I'm at. I'm not keeping count. I don't think I'm at 59 encounters yet. The last time I did this, it took 27. I don't know where I'm at. I'm not keeping count. I might be at 27. I might not be yet. I really don't know. I still haven't gone back through all the footage to count. You keep count so you don't go insane? Well, it's not the only thing I'm not keeping count on. Yeah, I don't keep count when I shiny hunt. It's too much work. It'll happen when it happens. Hopefully we get lucky with this last one. If not, well, we'll be back. I might actually be delayed for when I come back to do this next time, because... Oh, no, never mind. No, never mind. What I'm doing... I thought I was doing an escape room with my friends on Friday, but no, that's tomorrow. I'm doing it tomorrow on Thursday. Never mind, so I can still do this again on Friday. It's fine. You got to around 5,008 resets for Arceus? That's a lot of time. That's, I don't want to say that's quite over odds. That's a little bit over odds. You know? It's not too bad. Yeah, oh, that's about 80 hours. Ah, the amount of time us shiny hunters will devote to different color pixels on a screen. And at the end of the day, or at the end of 80 hours, it's gonna be worth it. Absolutely, because I take that golden llama everywhere I go now. Nice. I'm still debating what I'm gonna shiny hunt next. I do have a couple things in mind, but it's like, motivation's not really there to do them. I mean, I want to do them, but it's like, it's not really that high up on my priority list of things to hunt. I still got a couple things I want to shiny hunt. I still want to maybe go for a shiny Gardevoir in my Brilliant Diamond. Maybe, perhaps, I phase, get a male shiny Ralts, get a Gallade in the process. That'd be nice. Staryu is on your radar. Not bad, not bad. Pretty good shiny. You know, at some point I still want to do my hunt where I get all of the Ultra Beasts backwards. Starting with Guzzlord, move my way back to Nihilego. Like I said, at the very bottom of the list, I have some Let's Go things I want to shiny hunt. All the Alolan forms, but it's like, I really don't want to play those games. You want to make an all-alien shiny team? Now that's a unique idea. Is it going to include LGM and Behem? What about Deoxys? Lunatone and Solrock are considered aliens as well. I think. Right? They came from space. You know, Meteor. What other Pokemon came from space? Oh yes, Eternatus, yes. But you can't shiny hunt that, so not really gonna count that for shiny hunts. We're talking about Pokemon from space, so do you count Palkia, the god of space? Not really the same thing. Let's see, Pokemon that came from space. You got a shiny Eternatus, so it's all good. Is it from the event? The prior event distribution? Because yeah, I got that too. Absolutely, they're Pokemon that kind of sit on their own realms, so that's very alien. And yes, the distribution one. Nice. You have your own little Deoxys museum at home. You got collectibles from the 2004 movie. Wow. Now that is an achievement right there. Oh my god, 2004 was 20 years ago. Wait a second, when did Gen 3 come out? What year? Was it 2003? Yeah, 2003. Oh, good lord. Deoxys is 20 years old. That never even occurred to me. So is everything Gen 3. Gen 3 was 20 years ago. Oh no, we're getting up there in the numbers. Wait till Gen 4 was 20 years ago. Wait till Gen 5 was 20 years ago. Oh my lord. That's gonna happen someday. Someday, Generation 5 is going to be 20 years ago. Someday, Generation 6 is going to be 20 years ago. Deoxys would later get distributed for his movie release and at NASA, really? I didn't know about the NASA part. Yo, is it just me, or does Deoxys has always looked more like a feminine design to me? Is it just me, or am I just crazy? I know these things don't have genders, right? But just the overall appearance, it gives me more of a feminine vibe, kind of like Palkia does. I get more of a feminine vibe from Palkia, or maybe that's just me. Man, you put a big word in the chat. It's very androgynous. But yeah, you could go to the NASA Space Center to learn about space, and they would give out Deoxys. Cool. Man, I've been seeing the news reporting that whole thing about Katy Perry going into a spaceship, only for it to instantly come back down. And everyone clowning on that. Oops, that's right, I needed to do that. Maybe Katy Perry has to go stop a meteor? Was the initial plan to send that meteor to a different dimension? What happened to that, by the way? Remember how a couple of months ago there was news about an asteroid potentially hitting Earth in like 2032, whatever it was? And it went from like 1% to 2% and kept on going up? What happened to that? Well, I guess we'll find out in the early 2030s. Man, I feel like if an asteroid were to hit Earth, maybe another dinosaur extinction level event, at that point, there's not a whole lot you really can do but just, embrace it with open arms. If it gives me another shiny Deoxys, I won't mind. I only have 3 shiny Deoxys. Obviously all in Pokemon Go. I have 3 out of 4 shiny Deoxys forms, and I have 4 out of 5 shiny Genesect forms in my Pokemon Go. If it were more financial to hunt in Gen 3, I would, but I'm not doing that. Yep, I spent a lot of money trying to get that shiny defense form Deoxys. Too much money. Man, hard to believe that was months ago at this point. Because, I already best buddied it. Unironically cheaper to buy tons of passes than to get all the gear to hunt it in Gen 3 and transfer it up to home. Yeah, but if you get it in Pokemon Go, 1, you cannot transfer it to Pokemon Home, and 2, if you could, it would have that ugly G symbol. So, pick your poison. Alright, this is the last one for tonight. You can transfer him to home? Huh. I'll have to check that afterwards. I could have sworn you cannot transfer mythicals. Or maybe Deoxys is an exception. Isn't Darkrai transferable too? I have to double check this. Maybe only the mythicals from raids can be transferred. Oh my god, another shiny Glalie! This is why I should not catch these things. No, it's not nice. I can't keep it. Well, goodbye, shiny Glalie. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna do for tonight. So, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time for more shiny Zygarde hunting. Alright, bye. Look at the time. It's 12:41 a.m. It's late. Yeah, I'm going to bed. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.